to try to find a fix. That's ahead at 6.
Now, Action News investigates.
3 toddlers killed in less than 2 years in one local county. And in all 3 cases, Action News Investigates found child welfare missed signs that may have kept these children alive.
For the past 3 months, investigative reporter Paul Van Osdol has been exposing case after case of child welfare agencies dropping the ball on the safety of children, leading to their deaths. And Paul, this might be the worst example of all. Just awful.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Now, these children were all younger than 2 years old, and their deaths caused an uproar in Indiana County. And Action News Investigates has uncovered the hard truth about these dead children. In all 3 cases, Indiana Children and Youth Services knew about warning signs that the kids lived in troubled homes.
I miss them all day, every minute, every second.
Devon Bailey carefully tends the grave of his son, Malachi Patterson. He makes sure the toy cars are in just the right place. Malachi was only 22 months old when his stepfather, Juan Campbell, suffocated him at their Indiana home. Campbell pled guilty to third-degree murder. Campbell told authorities he was on heroin. Just 5 weeks earlier, Malachi ended up at Children's Hospital with a broken leg. Campbell told the doctor at Children's Hospital that Malachi rolled out of his bed. The doctor did not believe him. But the doctor also said there was not enough evidence to prove Campbell committed child abuse. So CYS ended its investigation with no finding of abuse, but enough concern about Campbell that a safety plan was put in place to prevent him from being alone with Malachi. Still, a state investigation criticized CYS for accepting Campbell's description of the incident without asking any follow-up questions. The report also found there was no contingency plan for Campbell when Malachi's mother went to the hospital to have a baby. That's where she was the night Campbell suffocated Malachi. Malachi's biological father never knew CYS had investigated Campbell for the broken leg until after he died. What would you have done differently had you known that?
I would have went and got my son. I know you can try to stop me, but if I would have known all this stuff was going on, he would have been here with me. No ifs and buts about it.
Just 3 months before Malachi's death, 13-month-old Ryden Thomas drowned while his parents left him unattended in the bathtub at their home in White Township, Indiana County. A jury convicted Ryden's mother, Tanya, of involuntary manslaughter. His father, Wesley, pleaded guilty to endangering the welfare of children. This state report in Ryden's case documents a long history of CYS involvement with the Thomas family. The report found CYS violated multiple regulations in its handling of Ryden's case. A supervisor never reviewed reports of possible abuse and neglect. CYS never assessed the father, even though he was constantly playing video games instead of watching the children. And CYS never brought together multiple agencies dealing with the family to discuss concerns. 11 months before Ryden's death, 17-month-old Colby Josephchik was suffocated to death by his mother's boyfriend, Sean Anderson Holmes. He pleaded guilty to involuntary manslaughter. The death review report shows the parents had a history of domestic violence. Their apartment had no electricity. CYS got multiple complaints that Colby was underweight. At one point, Colby's mother left an iron plugged in that melted the car seat. Also, she needed prompting to provide basic care to her children. But just 1 month before Colby's death, CYS closed its case on the family. Indiana CYS refused to discuss any of these cases. Commissioner. Yeah, Paul Van Osdol from Channel 4. So Action News Investigates went to the county commission chairman. But in these specific cases, there were multiple failures by Indiana County CYS. Were you aware of that?
I was aware that there had been some reviews, yes.
Were you aware that they cited specific statutes that CYS violated in the handling of these cases?
I was informed by our director that there had been some, yes.
We also went to the district attorney who investigated these cases and reviewed what went wrong with CYS.
One of the biggest things, in my opinion, that was lacking was just communication.
Especially, he says, in the case of Colby Josephchik, whose family had contact with child welfare agencies in both Indiana and Westmoreland counties.
Did both agencies know the other was involved? Absolutely. But there wasn't the free flow of information.
And what did that result in?
Well, the child ended up dying at the hands of mother's paramour.
What has been done since then to prevent these types of cases from happening again?
I can just assure you that we're working as closely as we can every day. Our Our children and youth folks are working very hard to ensure the welfare of the kids in the county.
It seemed like CYS didn't really care.
Action News Investigates shared the state investigative report into Malachi's death with his father. It made him angry.
If they would have stepped up, went further into detail when everything first started happening with Malachi, my little man could still be here right now.
Just last year, Indiana CYS appointed a new director. She is a former prosecutor who helped try the case against the parents of Ryden Thomas, the little boy who drowned in the bathtub. The DA says he is seeing better communication between child welfare and law enforcement. Now, we tried to reach the parents who were charged in connection with these cases, those who were not in jail. They did not respond. Paul Van Osdol, Pittsburgh's Action News 4.